Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom, and Snoof Nukem in the room. And on standby with me are my two amazing co-hosts, the always incredible, the always charismatic Titan Drago. What is up?
What's up, everyone? Yes, it is the next generation. So I think I'm going to take a little time off from my skit and see if I want to try and refresh this. Maybe a mid-gen refresh, maybe a in the mid-gen refresh or something like that. We'll see how it goes.
The next generation pro.
That's right. So I'm going to chill on my skip for a little while I start knocking out some games on my Series X, because even Noof was asking me in the pregame, he's like, man, you've been pretty silent. I'm like, yeah, man, I've been doing a lot of gaming. Like, I'm really into the Series X, but we'll talk about that more tonight along with some other topics. So let's get to it.
You betcha. This is exciting. I mean, I know the hype's kind of died down a little bit since last week, but a lot of us are balls deep into our brand new consoles. Well, I hope you're not taking it that seriously. And but we're having fun. So we're going to get down to that in just a minute. But also on standby is the man. We know him as the middle-aged game guy, but I like his shorter name better, the Meg. What is up, brother?
Well, good evening, Noof. Good evening, Chad. Good evening, Titan Drago. Yes, I am super excited to be here. It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It means that it's Gaming After Dark time. I'm super excited to be here. We got some next-gen stuff to talk about now that we got our hands on, at the very least, we got our Xboxes in our hands. So I'm super excited. Let's get right into it.
Absolutely. We are going to go deep tonight. Let me tell you, we got some great topics. And as always, we're going to keep the flow going. It is just the threesome tonight. But I do want to send this invitation out. And this goes to anybody in the chat who might want to join us. Or if you know somebody, because I should have done this earlier today. I don't even know why I didn't think about it. But I wanted to get somebody on the podcast tonight who actually owns a PlayStation 5. Because neither one of us on this panel either decided to get one or just are waiting for one, et cetera, but neither one of us have one yet. And obviously we're going to talk about the next console launches. Xbox is a week today. PlayStation will be a week out on Thursday. Obviously you've heard the rumblings, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So if anybody on this that's in the chat right now, if you got game for podcasting and you want to come talk about PlayStation a little bit, we greatly appreciate it, because I think it'd be nice to get perspective on there. But before we get into all the topics and what have you, let's give an acknowledgement to the amazing people who come in and out every week and support us so much. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to start off with Timmy the Dixon, who was first in the house, along with Doggy Dog, Casket Repair, the crazy Greek dude is here, Draven Arrow, Infinite, Spider-Man 356 is with us, Joe Dunmore is here. What's going on, Joe? We got Shizno Elite up in the house right now. Seamus Kelly, my brother from another mother, he is hanging out with me. What's going on, Shamer? Terrence Tate's in the house. What's going on, brother? Yes, so we got a fun group of people here already. This is going to be a fun show. So what the fuck, before we get to the topics, what have you guys been playing? What have you been up to? I mean, obviously your new consoles. I'll start with you, Titan. What game has been kind of keeping you busy for the last 5 or 6 days in general?
Well, I've put a good amount of time. I've been working a lot, so I think I got around 10 hours into AC Valhalla. So I'm right around there. I've also played probably even more time on that new what is it? That game, the roller coaster game. You make your own theme park or whatever.
Planet Coaster.
Yeah, I've been all over that. I've been all over that, man. I've been digging. I'm like on my third campaign or something. I beat three of the parks, so I've been doing that a lot. And then the usual multiplayer games, Smite and Rocket League, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Good collection of stuff. Good stuff. How about you, Meg? What have you been playing, brother?
Oh man. Okay. Well, when I got the Series X, I started with I downloaded AC Valhalla. I downloaded Watch Dogs. I downloaded Bright Infinite. What else did I get? I pre-ordered what's it called? Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, and then on my library list, I downloaded Battlefield 5 because I heard there were some enhancements that were put onto the game. And what else did I get? Planet Coaster, which I haven't touched yet. Doom Eternal, which I just started today, by the way. And my God, that game is incredible. I'm glad I waited, by the way. But we'll get into all that stuff later about, the performance of the console and stuff like that. But that's what I've been playing, Doom Eternal, and I put in about the same time as Titan in AC Valhalla. So I put about 8 to 10 hours in there, and I kind of put it off to the side. And I was actually telling Mr. Boomstick last night, this sounds completely irrational and ridiculous, but I'm actually going to go real slow on AC Valhalla because I'm afraid of it. It's going to end. I don't want it to end.
It ain't going to end, man.
Wow, you know what?
If it's almost as long as Odyssey, you're good to go.
No, let me tell you something. I got 1850 out of 1850 achievements on AC Odyssey. Okay, I have 100% completed every single Assassin's Creed game.
Well, did you take AC Odyssey slow?
Yeah, I kind of did. Yeah, because like it was like a fine wine. I had to do it I had to drink it like a fine wine. I'm like, I don't want this to fucking end.
That's right.
You know what's gonna happen, boys? Let me tell you something. You know, Phil Spencer said it. A couple other people in the industry said it. The dry spell is not now. They said the dry spell is going to hit hard in the first 3 quarters of 2021. Now I know Sony's got a couple of big games coming out. You got Ratchet and Clank, and they've got Horizon. And I'll tell you right now, if anybody thinks God of War is coming in 2021, you got another thing coming. But other than that, there's not a whole lot coming out. Halo Infinite, God knows when. So I have a feeling that from now until Ratchet and Clank, assuming you can get your hands on a PS5, there ain't nothing coming until next fall.
Well, I hope it doesn't get any drier than it has been for Xbox, because lately I feel like I've been eating pussy in the desert. Like,
oh my God.
Like fucking nothing on the horizon here. I mean, outside of third-party stuff, but their first party is nowhere to be found.
Well, you see what I'm saying, though, dude?
Yeah.
So you're looking at December. Well, okay, we got Cyberpunk. Okay, so you know, Cyberpunk's coming out, but other than Cyberpunk, January, I don't know anything. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I haven't heard squat. There's rumors about Resident Evil 8 making it out in the spring, but that's still just a rumor. Yeah. And other than that, I don't know anything. The Halo, they're saying that it might get pushed to the fall. So we got nothing on the horizon. So what we got now, and that's sort of like offhand remark by Phil Spencer, I don't think there's a whole lot coming out. So whatever games y'all got in your hands now, take your time and find all the collectibles. Okay?
Well, it'll keep me busy for eternity if I consider The Witcher I still got on my plate. So my lord.
Oh my God.
Well, Mag, I gotta ask you, do you feel like Valhalla is basically like a cut and paste of AC Odyssey?
I'm going to kill you, Titan. Don't you ever say things like
that.
Well,
you hold those.
I gotta know.
We're gonna discuss those games later. So you hold your thoughts for that then. So
I'll hold it.
Well, as far as me, man, I've been playing a few games, but hey, I've been playing with myself a lot too after the Oculus Quest.
Hey,
so. That shit's legit, man. Woo!
Oh my God.
Oh fuck. No, but in all honesty, my Series X, I really haven't played it a lot so far. Basically, the only game I've installed on it to this point has just been Gears 5. So tried a little bit of that. Of course, that looks amazing, all that sort of stuff. So I haven't really put it through its paces. Kind of most of my stuff's on the Xbox One X, and that's where it's going to stay until we start getting some more games that really push the envelope for the Series X kind of deal. I've been playing again Ghost of Tsushima, still pounding away at that game. Started that one, the Little Hope, the what do you call it, the Dark Thing trilogy or whatever. That's a pretty cool game, although I think I got a glitch. I might have to reset the whole game. But yeah, we're going to talk about glitches and crap later on in the show too. So all part and parcel here, guys. So there you go. And just little funny story, because I don't think I got to tell you guys this. I mean, everybody probably watched my Twitter feed last week, and you knew that I was in a bit of a disarray with my Series X, right? So I finally, I was doing a podcast with Boom on Friday morning, and I'm watching the update on the tracker, right? And it's like, okay, it's being delivered now. So I was like, cool, fuck yeah, it's out in the wild, right? I might get this after the show or before. And finally it says delivered. And I'm like, that's weird, because the courier didn't show up at my door. And so it goes, delivered to your community mailbox.
Oh my God.
Walk to the mailbox.
Oh my.
I'm like, it fits in the mailbox? I'm like, how big is that mailbox? Because it's just outside my house, like just on the corner, right?
Tell me they didn't just leave it out there.
Well, it was in the mailbox at least, yes, but it was out there, and I get the key, open up, get the key, and try to get it out, and the fucking key wouldn't work, man. I thought, and here I am trying to get ready for work too, like I gotta go to work in 20 minutes, and I couldn't get the door open, and you should have seen me. People would have thought I was a madman. I was out there fucking swearing at the mailbox. I was getting ready to go back into my garage. I was literally probably like 20 minutes away, and my wife knows me too. Like she's like, you were ready to beat the shit out of the mailbox, weren't you? I was like, yeah, I was probably gonna beat the fuck right out of it. I said, there's no fucking way that thing, after all that bullshit I went through, was going to stay in that mailbox. And I fucked with it. I couldn't get open. I said, what am I going to do? I said, the mail people aren't going to come out. Probably they're going to, because they'll get the bullshit answer and to be like, yeah, we'll help you on Monday. I said, no way is my Xbox Series X staying in the mailbox till fucking Monday. It ain't happening. So I go back in the house, kind of calm down a little bit, come back out, and I kind of looked at the lock of my mailbox, like my mailbox, right, where they put the key. And I was like, okay, I think I know what's going on here. Maybe, sometimes the doors kind of get jarred a little bit and you kind of either got to push on them or pull on them. I pushed it in really, really far, like kind of really pushed on it and turned the key. Sure enough, it come out, and I was like, God dang. So yeah. Oh yeah.
So you have one of those mail things, those community mail things where they have like a specific box and it's got a key to it, and they'll just put that key in your mailbox so you can open it. If you, I got you.
Yeah, it's like a safety deposit box kind of thing.
I just didn't think the Series X would fit in there. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah,
right? So
I was gonna say, like,
no,
hey,
they
you got
deliver some big stuff
giant ass mailbox.
Yeah, they could put some big stuff in there. Like I got it wasn't a big box, mind you, but it was the NES Classic, like whatever, 2 years ago.
Yep.
And they did the same thing. They didn't even come to my door. I was home. And then they're like, delivered. I'm like, delivered where? And then I found out it was in that box. And what pissed me off is that my wife had the key, and she went to work. So it sat there all day. Yeah, I was pissed. But anyways, whatever. But sorry, I don't have an exciting story about my Series X. All I did was walk in the store. They go, sir, there you go, and I left. So,
well, that's what I'm doing next time around. There's going to be an in-store pickup. Bullshit on this courier business, man. Like
this year.
Like, I'm sorry, man, Best Buy, but when people are relying on that shit to be there, like on launch day, you know how excited people are. You should have that shit sent out a week in advance. And you know what? If that's a problem on your end or a problem with Microsoft, you guys should work that shit out and make sure that your fans aren't fucking pissed off and unhappy. You know what I mean? So, bad enough lots of people can't get a console, but when you finally secure one, then you're sitting there waiting for freaking days. And that was off 3 freaking days. I was like, this is a perfect time to get my console. And nope, I didn't get it. When I told my boss, she was just laughing to kill herself. So, oh, you're off and you didn't get it. Now you're back to work and you got it. It's like, yeah, isn't that the fucking story of my life? Let's give a shout out to the chat. We got a lot of awesome people up in here right now. Let's catch up with them right now. Terrence Tate is hanging out with us. Like I said, my good buddy Seamus Kelly, who is actually one of my real life best friends, believe it or not, guys. He's awesome, and I'm glad he could make it out to the podcast. Free Jack is in the house, my other good buddy, who's just down the road from me out here in Alberta. We got Craig T Gaming, who says this podcast is on his rotation. Thanks for coming out, Craig, and adding us to your favorites. Shizno Elite's been hanging out with us here. We got Iceman LMH. We got Crazy Greek Dude. Jesse Darby's back in the house. Who else we got going on? Red Raven's in the house. What's happening, brother? Juan Castillo's here. Cyber Gunter's up in the house. Custod's X is here. Yeah, we got a good group here right now, baby. There we go. So let's rock and roll, and let's talk about that week in review. This is where we can get down to the nitty gritty. So, guys, here we are, 7 days into Xbox. So what do you think? I'll leave either one of you guys can jump in. Just kind of give us your impressions about the packaging, the weight, the look of the console. Now that you've actually had a chance to touch it, feel it, smell it, caress it, do whatever. I don't know. Let me know what's your impression. What kind of games have you played on it, and what sort of differences have you noticed so far? Either guy, take it away.
Well, I'll go with it. I'll grab the ball and run here.
Let's see.
There you go.
First of all, the actual presentation of the box itself was beautiful, and it just looked like quality. You know what I mean? Like, you get this beautiful, nice box, whatever. Took it home. Heavy, though. It was a lot heavier than I expected. So when the guy handed it to me, he goes, here you go, man. And I picked it up. I was like, whoa, shit. Okay, that was a little heavier than I expected. So anyways, got her home, opened it up, and that packaging, I know this sounds so ridiculous that we're talking about packaging, but my God, you can't ignore it. The packaging and the presentation was so nice when you actually flip open that box, and it's got that band around the actual console, and it says "Power Your Dreams," and it was just nestled in that little cutout thing, whatever, and it had like the black wrapping around the actual console. It was fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
and I took a picture of it. Who the fuck takes a picture of a box? I did. I sat there with my phone, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Depends on what kind of box.
I put those in a separate gallery in my phone that my wife can't see. Anyways, so speaking of which, so my wife actually got the console 3 days later, and
did you pull off the wrapping with your teeth?
Oh my God. It's not a garter, Titan.
Sorry. Go
Oh my God. So she opened it up. She looks at it and she goes, wow. And what did she do? The exact same thing I did. She starts pulling out her cell phone to take a picture of the box. And I'm like, well, you see, so it's not just me that's nuts. Well, she's nuts too because she married me. But anyways, it was so gorgeous. And I'm like, wow. So anyways, picked it up and I was like, holy shit, this thing is fucking like I could kill somebody if I hit him with this. Like it is a piece of machinery.
Yeah.
So
built like a brick house.
Oh yeah. Literally. Just a big cinder block. But anyways, I plugged it in. No problems, obviously. I did the setup on my cell phone, which took, 5 seconds? They're like, click on your app on your phone. So I'm like, all right. So they did that. They gave me like the 8-digit code, and it just did itself.
Mm-hmm.
There was no bullshit. There was no transfer. I didn't have to keep an old Xbox One and be signed into both and then plug a fucking LAN cable in and then sit there like it's fucking Nintendo 64 era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all I did was click, click, click on my phone, and then it even updated the controller for me because it says put down the controller, don't move it. Did the update, and I was off and running. That's it. I started downloading shit immediately. It synced up everything in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
And you know what the thing is? I'm not going to get into any fanboy nonsense at all. I really am not. But I really feel bad for people who aren't part of this ecosystem to see how fucking amazing it is. Just the UI and just the way that the infrastructure of Microsoft is so good and it's so seamless. And that was the other thing too. So when I started downloading games I owned, like for example, Battlefield 5, I wanted to see what that looked like. I downloaded Avengers because I wanted to see what it looked like, even though I had no real intention of playing it. I just wanted to see the upgrades because it had that X and S, like little insignia on the tiles. It synced up all my data in a matter of seconds. It just said syncing data done, and it pulled me right back from where I left off. And no issues, no fuss. No crashing, no, you know what I mean? No consoles breaking, not for doing that, not losing all my data, nothing. It just did that. And other than that, it was seamless, wonderful. I got to tell you, I think one of the questions you asked was the biggest difference. I have to bend the knee to every YouTuber out there who's been screaming, like your Colt Eastwoods, your dealers, your Rands, all those guys have been screaming about frames. And I was like, I was kind of on the fence about it because I was kind of going the Jez Corden route of being like, but I like my 4K, filmic look, whatever, and I got kind of used to that. As soon as you play Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 60 frames, I cannot go back. I can't do it. It was just, first of all, the first 10, 15 minutes was really funny. I wish someone was watching me because you'd be pissing your pants. I couldn't control the camera because I wasn't used to it moving so smoothly and so fast, right? And the character, I was like like when you give a console or a controller to like, a 60-year-old and be like, hey, here, fart around with this for a minute, and you just kind of laugh like your dad or your mom, and they're like, what the fuck am I doing? And that's how I was for the first 10, 15 minutes because I couldn't control the thing because I didn't expect that kind of fluid response.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit. So anyway, after about 15 minutes, I got used to it. And then I started playing Doom Eternal at, what is it, 120? Does anybody know offhand? Or is it at a 4K 60? Anyways, either way, I've been playing those two games, and I went back and played Mafia Definitive Edition at 30 frames, and I couldn't do it. I know that sounds so ridiculous and like over the top. I couldn't do it. It was like I was like playing the game in a strobe light.
No, it was
just,
that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I understand it. It's weird, but I understand it.
Like the cars driving by, because it was an open world, right? So I'm panning around and stuff, and I'm looking around because I want to see if it looked any better. And they actually didn't do any enhancements to it for the Series X or the PS5, from my understanding. And I'm looking around or whatever. I'm watching the cars go by, and it almost seemed like they were like almost like jerky in terms of motion. And it was because I was so used to now that's it, man. I'm a 60 frames and above snob. Like I'm like a PC guy now. I'm like, I can't go back. So
I feel the same thing about the loading times of the games.
Oh, and that's the other thing. The other thing is the quality of life stuff on the Series X is unmatched. quick resume has now officially become Mag's favorite thing in the entire world. I didn't think that was going to be a big deal. But then once I started using it, I realized this is the best fucking thing I've ever used in my entire life.
I like how it
ridiculous.
actually tells you that it's quick resuming in the top right.
Because like my TV also, like when a game comes on, there's a little insignia on the corner that says HDR, that letting you know that the HDR is kicking in. And it does the same thing with quick resume, right? Or even Game Pass. You know, like when you launch a Game Pass game, it'll say Game Pass in the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at it, I go, quick resume, and it had like a little button. I go, do I have to press something to make it quick resume, or does it just, and then I realized it just did it on its own. So I was like, wow, this is fucking incredible. And I didn't realize I needed it until I got it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those deals. And unbelievable. And the other thing is the loading. Like literally Doom Eternal is instant. It is instant. It's like 1.8 seconds from the menu and clicking continue to actually moving your character is like 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds. Yeah. You can't even look at your fucking phone anymore.
Dude, I also saw a clip, someone I think who's normally in the chat here, load up that race Forza.
Yeah.
And it was literally like 1.5 seconds. And it was a quick, it was a fast travel.
And you realize the habits that we have now as gamers. It's funny because I've heard other YouTubers and other people on other shows talk about it. Our habits are click on a game and then sit there and look at your phone for a couple minutes, right?
Right.
Pick up your phone, you start, checking your Twitter, see who's busting your balls, see what's talking, see who's doing this, see what's doing that, see who's talking shit or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden the game loads, you put your phone down, you start playing.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. You literally click the button, you look up, and the fucking game's already going. You're like, huh? And I'm grabbing the controller.
Here's an interesting proposition for you guys, and this would be an interesting. Can you imagine though how even more awesome the Series X would seem to us now if the One X never existed?
Oh my God.
If you went from the old VCR to fucking the Series X, could you just imagine the way you would feel about this console? Like, we're impressed now, but I think the One X for a lot of people just kind of sort of took a little bit of that amazement off, because the One X is no slouch by any means.
You're talking about 4K aspect of it all?
Yeah, the 4K and the fact that the One X itself could do 4K 60 on certain games, right? So I don't even think, to be honest with you, I don't even think anybody really ever tapped the One X. Like, I think there's still a lot of potential in that console, and we're never going to see it now because they've obviously moved along. But man, if that thing didn't exist, I think the jump that we were seeing now at PS5 and Xbox Series X would have been way, way more drastic.
Well, you
call me crazy, and this. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, dude. I was just going to say quickly that my One X crapped out on me in the spring. So I bought a 1S to carry me over till the Series X. So that last 6 or 7 months, I was playing on a 1S, like all digital. So I started getting used to that. So this jump, so when I got the Series X, I really did notice the jump way more because I wasn't going from a 1X right to the Series X because, like I said, mine died in like, March? I think it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. The 1X just said, fuck it, I'm out. And that was it. Yep. I'm like, yeah, good timing, asshole. Yeah. Sorry, Titan. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say, call me crazy, but a lot of people are not going to like this. Aside from the SSD, from what I've seen online, the PlayStation 5 is essentially an Xbox One X. 4K 60 sure looks a lot like an Xbox One X to me. This might be another topic for another time, but I just wanted to throw that in there while it was pertinent to the subject right now. But yeah, aside from the SSD, so right, we'll give that to the PlayStation 5 definitely. It's basically, the PlayStation 5 is basically a Xbox One X with an amazing SSD in it. And I've got more to say on this later on, but as far as trying to keep it on topic for now, because I can get on that track. You know me. I did not use the phone app, and my setup was surprisingly fast as well. I was expecting quite some time, and it was pretty fast. So every game I played so far, it's noticeably smoother. The controller is noticeably more responsive, and I didn't think I would notice that. So that was a kind of surprise to me. You know, they said they cut down the latency of the controller and of the system, the way it talks to the system and the TV. The difference is there. Like as soon as you press a button, you can boom, it's happening, and it's amazing. And like I feel better at multiplayer games. Like COD is silky smooth, and which they've added 120 FPS mode to COD. My TV can't even do 4K 120, but so I won't get that potential. Yeah, I don't get that perk, but so that kind of sucks. But it's crazy that they added that for the Series X only, 120 FPS mode. And to me, like TV companies, like they need to step their game up. Like Xbox and PlayStation are really pushing them right now because Samsung and all these other companies are really like I feel like they're milking these slightly updated TVs, or they're really expensive to make it, you know, out of reach for most of the consumers. Yeah. They're constantly taking perks away and trading things in and out. Then that's the way of their business, right? Like they don't want to give you the whole kit and caboodle right now, because then what are they going to have next year, right? They're just going to have to lower the price of their premium package TV eventually. So that's really frustrating to me. And the TV companies really need to.
TV companies got way too many models for one thing. They need to just simmer it down and try to make a good model that's just more affordable.
You're absolutely right. And downloading games is faster. Confirmed, people. I averaged anywhere from 60 to 100 megabits a second on the on my Xbox One X, okay? I now average 200 megabytes a second now, and I've seen it hit up to 400 megabytes. 400 has never happened last gen, so I don't know what it is about that, but it has definitely doubled my downloading speeds one way or another. I don't know what's going on with that. That's a more technical issue jargon than I know what's going on, but as far as an issue that is not the console's fault, even, it's the freezing of that game theme park. That game freezes a little bit too often for my taste. You know, whatever that theme park game is called, I can never remember it. But however, it reloads like really like so fast it doesn't even matter. Like, so the game freezes, you force close it, you load it back up, and 10 seconds you're in the game again. You know, so. That's all I got to say about it for now. How about you, Noof? I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, let's just catch up with the chat again. Spider-Man 356 hanging out with us. What's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Stu Drinks, Echo Falls. What's going on, brother? Fandom Kraken's in the house. The Gamers here with us. Emmanuel A1. ACS Husk dropping drinks. What's going on, brother? Slinky M. How you doing? The Doctor is here. What's going on, Doctor? Who else we got? Going down the line. Jay Slayer J is here. We got Custodes X. What's going on, man? Yeah, we got a good group here. Hopefully, I give everybody a shout out so far. Look, it's pretty simple. And let's just start out again with that packaging thing. Like, we've opened a lot of consoles in our day, right? And we've gotten pretty used to, sometimes the outside of the box is flashy. You know, like PlayStation's had some like nice looking, like the box with the outer shell. Like with the PS4, that's the way they've been doing the console. They have this outer shell with a cool picture on it, and you pull out the plain white box with just like the logo, and then you get a bunch of egg curtains. And that's pretty much what we've gotten with almost all of the systems, essentially, for like pretty much decades in and decades out. You know, you got to give kudos to Apple here. Apple is always definitely one of the pioneers of great packaging, which is minimalistic, simple, but very sophisticated at the same time. It makes you stand up and go, ooh, you know what I mean? Like sometimes less is more. And there isn't a lot about the Series X packaging other than, like I said, the outside the box looks snazzy. You got that black console. You see the holes, the ventilation in the top. My wife, as soon as they opened it, and she looked at the console, she was impressed with that. She thought that was really cool. She's like, is that a light or something? I'm like, no, it's just they have this green like interior to it, and when you look at it on a certain angle, it actually does look like a light shining on the inside. You know, the system itself, as I've said all along, is not ugly, but it's very minimal. It's functional. I guess that's the thing, and that's what they made it. They made it to be very functional, to be very efficient. It is a heavy little bugger, like Mag said. You can definitely feel the heft in this sucker. I've got mine up vertically right now, but it feels well built. That's the thing, though. It does feel like it's really well built. And it looks okay. Like it's efficient, gets the job done. The controller, like I said, you don't mess with the greatness, guys. When you already have the best controller in the industry, why go out and screw that shit up? Which they didn't. Thank God. They pretty much kept it the same. And another kudos to Microsoft, you can use your old Xbox One controllers with the Series X. Can you do that with PlayStation? No, you cannot. So you got to go out and buy more shit. So there you go. So Xbox thinking about the consumers, and like I said, they knew all along they had a great controller. They just made it better. They finally put the share button in. They've heard that cries for that for several years, and they finally added it to the controller. The D-pad is better. The triggers feel a little better. They got that gripping along the bottom now. The controller just feels like awesome. Like just again, it's a refined awesomeness is what it is. So overall, it's well built, and that packaging, it feels like a presentation. You don't open it up and then pull through this cellophane wrap and pull this other crap, and there's 5,000 twist ties and egg carton shit flying everywhere. Like when you open it up, it's kind of like, man, I don't want to throw away the packaging. When you got a package for a console or whatever, or a special game, and you don't want to throw it away because it feels like it's almost part of the whole unit itself, that's kind of impressive. And that's the way I looked at it. It was very minimal, but very efficient. The console wasn't surrounded with a bunch of junk. It was just sitting nicely cradled in the center, well presented with Power Your Dreams. You opened up even that plastic wrapper that was around it felt kind of cool, and it was really dark black, and then it had just very minimal sponging just to keep it in place, and then that little package where you open up your controller and the wires were in there nice and neat, wasn't a lot of junk, one little pamphlet in there, good stuff. I mean, like I said, that's minimal. I know we sound like we're weird talking about it like that, but it's just, you don't often see it in a console, and this might be the first time that a console ever felt like it was really presented. Like it was like, we have a premium product, here's a premium package, that sort of, yeah, like Infinite says, I saw unboxing of the PlayStation. Look, I mean, you don't need a fancy box, we get it. It just has to get the job done, but I saw the unboxing of PlayStation, and again, it was just more of the same, right? More just a crappy old shitty box with eggshell cartoning inside, and and that sort of stuff. The UI itself on the Series X, like I said, it's refined. I guess that's a little disappointing because when you got a new console, we're so used to having complete overhauls, and this one is, basically the same thing we've been used to for a while, with a few extra options, a few little bells and whistles here and there. Like you say, you got the quick resume now, you get the faster loading. The loading is huge. It's going to make a huge difference for all of us gamers this generation. Not sitting there and waiting for massive long load screens, especially if you're dying a game. There's nothing worse. You die in a game, and then you got to sit there for 30, 40 seconds every freaking time and wait for it to load back in and all of that sort of stuff. It's amazing. Space is definitely going to be an issue, though. Hard drive space this generation, because you got, if you want to take advantage of the Series X, you need to get these specially memory cards, or the solid state drives, the little memory solid state drives, and those are expensive. PlayStation's got its own issues there as well. So space is definitely is definitely a premium thing that we're definitely going to have to be very conscious about what we download, what we keep, those sorts of things. So, yeah, we're going to segue. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we segue, I got a couple things, and I want to hear about a couple things about you guys too. You could tell this console isn't even working hard. First of all, it is silent, right? Like, you could just tell it's like it's on vacation, yes. Basically, when you're playing games, it's that quiet. Mm-hmm. And this console will get put to work eventually, but I'd rather have it like it is right now, not like the PS5, which seems to be struggling with PS4 games. But if I were to nitpick, why not put the rubber backing on the controller, right? On the next gen controller, why not put the rubber back? My hand sweats more than Mike Tyson when he's sparring, Like, that's the one thing I hate about this new controller, is that, like, I don't know what it is about this damn this material it's made out of, but my hands, man. Like, is it getting old? Like, what is it?
Your hands sweat almost as much as your balls if your wife was to catch you cheating.
One more thing. So I want to hear your guys' nitpicks if you have any. And also in the chat, Who's on team vertical and who's on team horizontal? 1 for vertical, 2 for horizontal. I am a 2. I know Noof is a 1. He does his vertical.
Yeah, everything stands up in my house except for the only thing that matters. You betcha. So at least my system's got a hard on. Spider-Man gave us a 2. Lots of ones up
me
there.
and Spider-Man, the only ones, huh?
Dang. I agree with you. It would have been nice to have a little bit of the rubber gripping like you see on the Elite controller, more so than just a little textured grip into the plastic. So,
yeah, I don't. You know what? Something else. Actually, I didn't even notice until Rand was talking about it. Randall Thor was talking about it. They shortened the triggers. Did you notice that in the back, like the left trigger, right trigger? They actually shortened them and rounded them a little bit, and it gives you a little. I know it sounds crazy, but it gives you just enough more room on the end of your fingers when you're playing that it doesn't feel like you're slamming like the middle parts of your fingers into the back of the controller. It actually feels a little bit more natural, and you just kind of have to like just lightly sort of tap it. I mean, you can't. You know, it's funny. I'm actually talking about it, and I'm actually just doing it with my fingers right now, just show like as if I'm showing you guys. I'm like, you can't fucking see what I'm doing.
And the bumpers aren't as clicky. They feel a little bit nicer this time.
Yeah. Like everything feels so much more responsive and quick, you know. And
my buddy Whiskey Mike has gone through, like, he has this huge issue with the left bump on the old, you know, because he hasn't upgraded yet. If he ever does, I don't know. But he's broken, I think, 3 controllers left bumper.
How?
Something, and it's only the left bumper. Something about that left bumper is weaker than the right one.
or his left index finger is like way stronger for some reason.
Well, he's right-handed. I know he does his business with his right hand, so that wouldn't make sense.
Maybe that's his fingering finger. It's got like a little mini bicep on it when he flexes. That's crazy. How do you just break just the left bumper?
Well, he's not. He's actually. I've heard a couple other people have the same issue. So if like, what's your guys' in the chat? What's your biggest breaking of the controller issue or whatever that you guys have had historically? So let me know that. But yeah, his was definitely the left bumper.
I've had no issues with pretty much any controller except for the audio jack of my Xbox One Elite seems to be a little finicky at times.
I've had no issues with any hardware, and I've never broken a controller. I mean, other than the Red Ring of Death like 16 years ago, but other than which was out of my hands, no pun intended. But like in terms of controller, I've never broken a controller. Like I don't manhandle my controllers like a fucking Neanderthal. Like I've seen some guys play, and they're like, like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Noof throws his against the wall.
Are you playing a game or are you fucking jackhammering your thumbs into those like, relax, man.
Yeah, my buddy Seamus in the chat, he's been here to watch me destroy stuff firsthand. I was off the coffee table one time. He's seen it, and just recently I broke one too during a community game night, when I was getting my ass handed to me on Gears.
Oh, I remember you said something about that. Yeah, that's great.
And I broke in a 360 one time, slammed it into the wall, punched it, heel kicked it, or destroyed the damn thing. That's when they're expensive too.
You know what?
I got a serious rage issue, and now people wonder why I try to avoid those From Software games.
The only controller I almost threw against the wall, but I stopped myself, was that fucking game by EA, Alice Madness Returns. And it's on Game Pass right now. Don't download it. Okay, it is literally the most. It's like From Software times 10. I don't know why that game is so fucking hard. Anyways, it's absolutely ridiculous. Eventually, I just got so mad, and I just got up and I went to slam the controller, and I said, "Don't be an idiot." And I just sat back down. I took the disc out, and I'm not even joking. I opened the front door and I threw the disc out on the street.
Damn.
True fucking story. Yeah, no, I wouldn't break the controller. I'm not going to break my controller.
What did the controller do?
Back to the rabbit hole at you, bitch.
Yeah, oh no, I did. I was so fucking mad. I walked upstairs, I unlocked the front door, and I literally frisbeed that fucking game in the middle of the street. And that's it.
I've come close to like because I've hated a couple of games that I played, and I'm like, I probably won't even play this game anymore. But when I go to Ben, and this was years ago, and then so DVDs, right? So when I bend a DVD, I'm always afraid when you break it, like a shard is gonna poke your eye out or something like that. So I never did it. I always just left it alone. I never had that gamer rage in me.
I
I
don't
just
have
yell
gamer
a
rage.
lot.
I might yell like an occasional fuck, like if I die like 3 times in a row in the same spot. Actually, it happened to me today when I was playing Doom, and this those big round assholes with the big mouth that you throw the grenade in their mouth or something and they blow up. And it came and it kept chomping on me, and I couldn't like find him. I realized he was behind me, and after like the 3rd time of him killing me, the worst that I'll ever do, I'll just be like fuck, and that's about it. That's about it. Like I don't get ragey with games. I like to keep my blood pressure down. You know, don't forget I'm a middle-aged game guy, right? So
right.
Gotta take it easy.
Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Sorry, what?
No, I was gonna say Crazy Greek dude. Okay, you don't have to. He just I was talking about Alice Madness Returns, and he's like, "Yeah, I just beat it. It was fun." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Eh? Okay." Jesus, trust me, that game is really, really fucking hard.
Red Raven 96 hanging out with us. We got a new guy in the chat. We got Derek V. He says Xbox Series X works perfectly for me. He loves it. Good stuff. Derek, good to hear that shit is working good for you. We had Psychonauts is in the chat tonight. What's happening, Psychonauts? Cam McNair, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming out. Atrocity Nights is here with us as well. Princess Zelda, how are you tonight? Hope you're doing well. Slinky M, Phantom Kraken, Doggy Dog, Shizno Lee, Crazy Great Dude, Infinite's here, the Doctor, Midway Monsters here. Like I said, my buddy Seamus hanging out with us here. Iceman, Joe Dunmore. Yeah, we got a good crew here tonight. CSS Freelance, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here. So obviously, guys, if you haven't heard by now, I think I can't speak for Titan as much, but I know Mag and myself, we plan on getting a PlayStation 5 at some point, just a matter of time. So I won't talk about, other than the impressions of what I've seen from the unboxing, which I think I already kind of gave an impression there. Let's just talk about the launch in general. It's our main topic for the night. How do you perceive the launch so far? Because to say the least, this might be one of the most interesting, if not sort of, I use disastrous in the thing, but it's a question mark because how you look at this launch is going to be different for everyone. I think someone in the chat just said it a little while ago. Would you rather a good console at launch with no games, or would you rather a bad console at launch with lots of games? Because I feel that's almost exactly what we got here. Is more people seem to be happy with their Xbox Series X, but here we are right out of the gate playing third party titles on it. And older titles that have been enhanced. But again, they're older titles, and PlayStation people have at least got a chance to experience something relatively new. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Demon Souls, which is old but made new again, Sackboy, etc., etc., a few different games on there. So how do you perceive the launch on this one? Titan, has it been a little bit disappointing? Has it been everything you wanted? How do you feel it's been so far?
No, man. I tweeted it out, and I said, as a next gen, a Series X owner, I do not, because I've seen people tweet about it. I do not feel like a next generation console beta tester. I personally do not like it. The system does everything I want it to. It feels a lot better. It looks a lot smoother. It's noticeable in every promoted main aspect about the system. And that's what I wanted, right? That's why I bought the system. I wanted much faster loading times. Boom, you got it. They promoted the controllers being much more much less latent. Boom, we got it. Like everything they've said, we've gotten. And the exciting part is this console is like I said earlier, you could tell this console is just chilling. It is not hardly working at all. The fan is barely moving. It's silent as hell. It's fast as hell. It does everything we want it to do. And this is kind of going into the Bethesda thing, but so we'll talk about that more later. But I just want to mention one thing about the Bethesda games. And that is, if I was a corporate big shot at Microsoft, I would let the Bethesda games go to PlayStation 5 because, damn, the PlayStation 5 is literally struggling to run PlayStation 4 games. You've got the PlayStation 4 bricking themselves. They're overheating. They're giving overheating messages saying, wait until the damn system cools down. You got corrupted save data. You got corrupted files. You got unrecoverable files. You got PlayStation 5s that somehow sound more annoying than the jet engine PlayStation 4 in some cases. Have you guys seen those videos?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So I've tweeted out about it during the week, and so to me, the Series X, this seems like a good launch window. It's working for the most part. There's a little issue with the quick resume at times. It'll say quick resume, but it won't take me to exactly the spot I was. So there's something going on with that. So, but that's like a little patch, and it's like not, it's not exactly quick loading that exact frame for me for some reason in some cases. I don't know what that's about, but it's nothing like the issues we're seeing with the PlayStation 5. And the thing is, there's so many PlayStation issues that all right, so someone responded to me and said that these are not it doesn't look to be widespread, right? One single issue does not seem to be widespread, and that's true. But the thing is, there's so many different issues
Yeah.
that it seems like more than not, someone has one of these major issues that is affecting their PlayStation 5 for one reason or another. Yeah. And to me, that's obvious. The PlayStation 5 was not ready to launch, unlike the Series X was. So what do you got to say about that?
Well, I'll just jump in real quick. And first off, we heard a while back, and again, it's speculation, but remember there was an article like a few months back that somebody posted. It was from like an insider that said they were having problems with the system on a chip, the SOC.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
But then a lot of people dismissed it and brushed it off and said, no, there wasn't an issue. So now it's starting to make you wonder, maybe there really was an issue. The other thing that makes me wonder about PlayStation was the Xbox has been out in the wild for quite some time. There have been people picking it apart for weeks ahead of the launch. There's been YouTuber guys and influencers had this thing weeks before the launch. We saw a lot of different perspectives leading up to it. Sure, they didn't show any of the games, but the hardware was out there. Like I said, it was picked through. PlayStation, even when they did that first reveal of the PS5, remember it was in a controlled environment with controlled influencers, and they weren't allowed to really talk on it. It was kind of like they had to play certain things, and everything was in a very set environment that Sony had dictated.
To be fair, they had to respect NDAs as well. So Microsoft did that as well. To be fair,
that is true. That's true. But how come the hardware teardown and all the rest of it was very late for PlayStation? It was almost just before the launch. You can't deny it.
That's
it just
true.
Kind of makes you wonder.
That's true, but why? But all right, so it's a teardown. Like them doing a teardown late isn't going to affect the problems that the system has, right? So it's just really weird to me. Like, and as far as like the packaging goes, right? You guys mentioned the cheap packaging, and Mag is doing his unboxing of the PlayStation 5 over there.
That was amazing packaging, dude.
He had me fooled. He had me fooled. The sticker on it and with the tape and everything. He had me fooled, man. Until he said it was the quietest thing ever. But like that packaging, that could be a legitimate reason for some of these issues, these widespread issues, right? That cheap package. All right, you throw a Series X box on the ground. That thing had that nice foam, right? That thing ain't gonna take too much. My packaging actually had it was like crunched down in the corner,
right?
And I worked for the post office. All right, you're delivering thousands of these things. So thousands of these things go through your hands. You're chucking them everywhere. You're chucking them into containers. In the truck, they might fall over on the ground. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. If you're setting up this PS5 in this cheap packaging, I'm just seeing myself as a mail carrier and chucking that thing around like every mail carrier does. That thing is bound to take some damage somewhere along the line.
So you're saying that Sony's probably got shaken and stirred on the boat on the way over?
Shaken, not stirred, please. They should have put that on the box. Yeah, they don't even put fragile on the box. That's really strange, ain't it?
They should have put Big Bitch inside. Hannibal Care. Big fucking sticker. They're gonna put that on a box, guys. Big Bitch inside. Hannibal Care.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
Mag must have got his hand on one of the special edition translucent ones.
Yeah, exactly. Very limited edition. Yes.
Mag, that's all you got to do to start making videos on YouTube. Upload that thing to YouTube, and there you go. You've got 100 subs right there.
Well, Porta Player, what
You're
are
on
you
your way.
bragging about, bro? You got a PS5 that's like shit to bed already, or what?
Yeah.
Huh? What the fuck are you bragging about, man? What? You Demon Souls? Yeah, I get it. It's a cool fucking game. It's an old fucking game that was made new. Like, so whoop-de-doo-dah. Like,
Portal,
sure,
I'm not
you know?
bragging about packaging. I'm saying that could be one of the legitimate reasons for the multitude of problems we're seeing. Like, right? That's an excuse the PlayStation has. I'm actually giving them an excuse for some of its problems or potential.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my wife brags when she sees a nice package.
There you go.
It ain't mine, though. Oh, fuck. Oh, goddamn. Go ahead, Mag. Give us your 2 cents, man, where you see this right now, this whole deal.
Well, for the year that we've had of 2020, I gotta say it was at least the Xbox side of things was much more successful, I think, than the Sony launch. And I don't mean the quality. I mean, the quality we can argue, we could talk all day about that. But I'm talking about in terms of the actual logistics of being able to get the consoles out. Yes, some of them were running behind and stuff, but I think that their launch was pretty decent. I mean, they had a decent amount. What did they sell? Like 1.5 million in the first day? Something like that. And they're obviously holding more stock. The actual consoles themselves, when you fire them up, there were no issues. Or at least very few. Now, the other thing is, we don't know how many Sony sent out. And there was that really strange, and you know when it all started going to shit was when that whole pre-order disaster, when they didn't even announce the pre-orders, and somehow they went live, and half the people, that's why I didn't get one, because I was at work. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and nobody said anything, and all of a sudden it was like, they're live? And then like, live since when? And they're like, well, I don't know. They seem to be live. And then all of a sudden you go on, they're already gone. So how many did they have? Obviously not a whole lot, and then there was the talk about the SOCs and everything else. And they lost like 3 to 5 million units. Like that's crazy, and that sucks for them. I mean, that really sucks. What are you going to do? But I don't know if they were cutting corners. I don't know if they were just using cheap parts. God knows what the reasons are, right? But anyways, it hasn't been great. Now, in terms of the games, though, yeah, Sony's got a little bit more of not a little bit, but they have a more impressive lineup because they bolstered that lineup. They knew that they had that Miles Morales DLC 2 years ago, okay? And what did they do? They say, stop it, let's make it better, let's polish it up, and let's turn it into a next-gen title for the PS5.
That's true, but then you also got you've seen all these Miles Morales. It's bricking their consoles.
That's a console problem.
Then you've got the yes, exactly. Then you've got the PUBG textures in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You've got Spider-Man falling through the floor, which that's a software thing.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of issues.
And then there's the major one, which is it hints towards the negative side of overclocking your GPU.
Yeah.
Is those issues that we've seen the circles showing up everywhere, like it's a 1940s film or something.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I saw that on an NHL clip. Someone posted a clip of NHL, and the screen went pink. And then all these dots started showing up, and I'm going, what the fuck? And then some of the consoles were making that loud noise. Like they sounded like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. He's like, you want to hear something annoying? Like that fucking thing. And I actually that was basic. And this guy had he had a video, and he's like, is my PS5 supposed to sound like this? And he put the video up, and you could hear it. It's like going, and I'm going, like, what the fuck is that? Anyways,
bad.
You can't deny it. You know what I mean? And you know what? I actually told you guys pre-show, after my show last night, I had criticisms about it, about the Sony launch and the state of their hardware and software. Not talking the quality of their games. I'm not saying Demon Souls is bad or Miles Morales is bad or Sackboy, which is still the funniest fucking name out there next to Dr. Dinglenut. Like, I'm sorry. How the fuck can you take anybody seriously named Sackboy? All I can picture is this huge pair of balls walking around. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking stupid. They couldn't have called him anything else. Jesus Christ. Why'd they just call him Shaft Boy? You know? Anyways.
Man.
So I'm not attacking the quality of the titles. I know PlayStation puts out nothing but quality. All their first party games are fucking excellent. You know, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a hardware issue. You know, and if anybody comes at me, and some people have lately, and come at me like, you know, and that's all it sounds like. That's all it sounds like to me when I hear it. So, and I'm like, do you work for fucking Sony warehouse? Like, are you a tool and die maker on the front line? What the fuck do you care if the console is badly made? Just fucking take the knee.
It's time to be serious with ourselves, okay? There's a serious point in all this, and it, you know what? If the PlayStation fans actually just, you know, and let's not even call it an L. Let's just call it. I'm gonna call it an L. You can call it what you want. I'm trying to be civil here, but many things are wrong with this. So let's call Sony out on it, right? None of these none of these people are writing about this. This is like being swept under the rug.
It's slowly coming out. Now, here's the thing. Now, you did mention something a little bit earlier, Titan, about how some influencers, YouTubers and stuff like that, you're like, yeah, I hear a problem here, you hear a problem there, but it's not rampant. How do you know? How do you know? Because average Joe Six-Pack bought one, and some other dude who bought one,
about it.
or neighbor. If he's having those issues, what are the outlets? What are his outlets available to him to be able to tell the world? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, and then you got Boogie 2988. Hold on, before you go on to that, then you got Boogie 2988 making a video about a negative video about the Xbox's UI. When there's all this other crap to talk about, that's what you're gonna like. He says it doesn't feel next gen.
Well, yeah,
like,
I saw that, but you know, that's whatever. That's like with things like that. Just I don't know. I mean, those are the kind of things where you're just like, just stop. But
I don't completely disagree with Boogie on that, and I'm not saying it doesn't necessarily feel like gen, but I mean, if you look at every Xbox before this, right? I mean, there was a drastic overhaul in the dashboard and a pretty significant change to the controller. 360 to even the Xbox One, there was a pretty good difference in the controller. This time, the consoles are vastly different, but the controller largely remained the same as Xbox One, and the UI is theoretically, in most cases, the same UI we've been using for the last while. But again, I get it because Microsoft said they're trying to unify their console base, right? And there's a positive in that. The positive is right out of the box is if you're familiar with Xbox One, you know, it's not a learning curve all over again. You're not going to pop into the Series X or the Xbox Series S and go, like, where the fuck is everything? You know how it works. The only difference is now it works far faster and more efficient. Now, my thoughts on the whole launch, and this goes for both consoles, guys. I think both consoles direly missed the mark in a lot of ways. Let's start with the pre-orders. Disastrous in most cases on both counts. Now, I will give them some credit on both cases between PlayStation and Xbox that we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everything was delayed this year. Manufacturing is well behind schedule. God only knows how many people they actually have in their factories. You know, like say if somebody gets sick, they might lose half an assembly line. You know what I mean? So we don't know those factors for sure. I noticed on my Series X, the manufacturing date, I think on it says August, I think it's the 9th on it, which is kind of weird because the last few years I bought an Xbox, like in that November timeframe when they launched, the manufacturing was usually June or July. So hence that 1 or 2 months behind schedule. I'm assuming mine might have been one of the first Xbox Series X off the line. I don't know. I don't know if anybody has a Series X. You can tell me if your manufacturing date is before August or not. Obviously, pre-orders didn't go up to September the 22nd. PlayStation kind of surprised everybody and kind of really fucked people over there. Then the other problem is not necessarily PlayStation or Xbox. It's the actual companies that didn't secure enough quantities, weren't diligent with the bots. It's been a mess. I mean, it shouldn't be this complicated and this crazy to try to secure a console. And yet there's idiots out there that got 9, 10, 11 carloads. I've seen videos. And I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. And you might hate me and you can block me, delete me, get out of here. But I'm sorry. If you're out there with 10 consoles and people want these things, you are scum. You are effing scum, in my opinion. You're exactly what's wrong with the industry. You're not a gamer. You're a freaking person that's just out there taking advantage. Like, get a life. You know, like, I don't know what the hell you're doing to get these consoles, but there's a lot of people out there right now upset and pissed off that they can't get one. And you know what? I'll fucking die. I'll take a bullet before I fucking spend $1,700 on a fucking console that should be $600. Maybe I'd go 100 over, but you guys are scum. I'm telling you right now, it should be fucking illegal. There should be a law against it. Shut you guys the fuck down and get rid of this shit.
I hope they lose out. I really hope they lose their ass on all that. But
and they'll defend themselves. They'll defend themselves. I have the right. Yeah, you know what? It's a free country. It's a free world. I get it. But it just tells you something about the person's mentality. Low life, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they cannot see the lines drawn, right? They can't see where human decency is. Even as something like you're obviously trying to take advantage of others. That is passing the line of human decency, aka, like Noob said, you're a piece of shit or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, like, I had to get this one out of it. Sackboy, aka Sticking Two Berries Boy.
Boy now.
Sticking Two Berries Boy. But Portal Player in the chat, like, I don't care if Xbox doesn't have exclusive, right? I'm a gamer. I play all games. I don't care if others get to play those games as well, no matter what console or platform they play on. What I care about is playing the best version of games on a solid working console. That's what matters to me, and it's what should really matter to everybody. Go ahead.
But like I said, I don't want to go off track on that, but let's just say the pre-orders were a little bit messy, okay, at the end of the day. Not enough quantities out there. Xbox, I'll give them credit. They actually launched in multiple countries, like a worldwide launch. PlayStation, who is the universal leader in these things, only launched in so many countries. So that's quite interesting. So launches and pre-orders right there. Then let's get down to the games, which at the end of the day is really what matters. And I get it. I know Shizno in the chat says that he doesn't care. He's playing Valhalla and stuff. And that's great. If there's lots of great third-party games that you like and you can play, that's fantastic. Look, I know, like, I have my X right now because I know that the games will come. It's a matter of time. And the games that I have, if I can play them with better load times and the games look and run better anyway, it's a win for me. Like, I'm not disappointed either which way. I've got a beast of a console here, and it's ready to go when those games go. I think every Xbox fan is deeply disappointed that Halo did not launch alongside this thing. That would have been really cool. I think we were looking forward to it. And not to mention that, what? Today should have been the release of Cyberpunk. Yeah. And guess what happened there? Another delay. We've seen so many delays here recently. It's just gotten to the point now. It's starting to get, it's almost hilarious. But like I said, we're in a different time, a different age. This is the COVID times right now. And the fact we even got a console at all, personally, if I was Xbox and Sony, I would have said, you know what, guys, we're delaying our launch till next year. I don't think anybody would have really cried over it because we got enough games to play. And if they had to wait until next year, maybe this shit's behind us. They get full manufacturing. They start hitting pre-order numbers a little bit better, and then possibly would have had more games at a launch. Do you know what I'm saying? I know people that say, well, no, blah, blah, blah. But come on, guys. Realistically, if we had to wait till next year, if we can wait a year or two for a freaking game, we can wait a little bit longer for console. Nobody's out there like, oh my God, I got to have one like ASAP. To me personally, that's what I would have done, just because we are in an unprecedented time. I give them credit that they went ahead with it anyway, but it just makes it. And the retailers have been fucking nuts. Like, it's stupid. You can't go. You can go out to a bar and sit down and drink, and you can do all this fucking shit, and you can walk into grocery stores like nothing's ever going on. But God forbid you walk into Walmart and get a console. Oh, because they're afraid that 20 people might stand in a fucking line. They got things on the floor anyway. Stand 6 feet here, stand 6 feet there. Wear a fucking mask. Put a dildo in your ass. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, like they got all these fucking restrictions, and then the retailers, no, we're not going to sell them in the store because we don't want people lining up because of COVID. Like, it's what? Well, like, they make no fucking sense. Like, seriously. Like, oh man, I could go on and completely, but honestly, I'm a little disappointed with both launches. PlayStation gets a little bit more credit for at least having a little bit more in terms of software at the launch, although not super strong in my opinion. Like I said, when your best game is an old game that just got remade, I'm pretty sure Xbox guys would have got laughed out of the park if their game came out and they said it was, well, it's Gears of War 2 remastered, right? For Xbox Series X, completely remade. You'd be like, haha, look, it's an Xbox 360 game remastered. So it would have gotten the same thing. We would have laughed out of the fucking park, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. Demon Souls looks fucking amazing. I think you got shit in your eyes if you don't think that game looks absolutely nuts right now, and people are enjoying it and the ratings are good. So I'm happy for them. That's great. But you got to call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? So no, Gears of War 2 doesn't sound bad, and I wouldn't mind to try hard, but I'm just making a point. And hello, try hard, by the way. So I'm just going to leave it there because we got to get on to some more topics in a minute here. But I just think overall, marred by everything, this weren't the smoothest console launches ever. You know what I mean? We do have great hardware.
Exactly.
I love the Xbox Series, and let's talk about the hardware problems. We won't go into it too depth, but PlayStation, Xbox has had a few. I don't know about that whole vape, people blowing vape smoke up to the fucking consoles. That's retarded. I never seen anything like that. What is that shit all about? But the PlayStation stuff, I'm sorry, I've seen too much to ignore it at this point. It's really weird. From games glitching, like really bad, to graphical effects, to constant breaking consoles. Can't load if it's a hard drive attached. Like you name it. Like the gauntlet that's coming out here on the PlayStation 5, which is really disappointing. I'm talking about people that I know in the gaming community too, who are really honest. They're not making stuff up. Like JKB, he just bought a PS5, and he's a really honest, awesome dude. Follow that guy. His shit to bed. He said he had something sound like fucking bees or something in it. Was making some kind of weird ass noise, and we've heard it all. It's just like, what is going on with PlayStation 5? Like, did they rush this thing out? Is there a higher defective rate than we think? There's always a defective rate. We know that. They say it's can be anywhere from 2 to 5% of a launch lineup. So if you got 1 million consoles in the wild, 5% of 1 million is like what? Is that like that's what? Was that like 250,000 or something like that?
It's crazy.
So think about that. Still a pretty high number, right?
Yeah.
So eventually you're going to run into somebody that's got a shit ass system in their hands. So and with social media the way it is these days, anybody that has a problem with anything immediately goes out and fucking puts it online, unless you got herpes or something. You don't usually go and take a picture of that and go, hey, look, I got herpes. But, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the launches, the from everything, the glitches, very, very disappointing in my hands. Not impressed, but hopefully they can get back on track here next year. And I can't wait. And Cyberpunk, you better come out in December. God damn it. Any further thoughts?
5% of 1 million is 50,000. Phantom Kraken said he's got to do a real life battle royale to get a console. So I take it you didn't make it to the final circle, Phantom.
Well, he's in Panama.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I was reading the same thing. He said he's actually from Panama, so he said I'd have to do a real life battle royale to get an Xbox. I'm like, oh man, if I had more money, Panama, I would send you one. I would do that.
Phantom, if you don't follow a guy named Mark J. Pones, he does a lot of giveaways. He's a really good guy. I would suggest following him.
Another Canadian.
But let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Talking about the games that are out there right now. And I want to ask everyone, besides Noof, because he's out of the box on this. So what's the new best game out there? Mag, what's the new best game out there right now?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
What did you say to me earlier about that? Don't you remember?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the best game out there.
That's right. And you know what? Like Noob said, like the gauntlet is being thrown down on PlayStation 5 right now. So there's things that can be solved with software updates, and then there's these the high fail rate, which we've reported on, which I'm sure PlayStation fans that listen to the show are sick and tired of hearing of. But guys, when PlayStation is constantly feeding us ammo like this, are we just supposed to ignore it? Yeah. No, like we gotta fix this. We gotta let our voices be heard. I gotta know why these, like, I'm convinced right now IGN is paid by PlayStation in some form or fashion. They have a contract, because I don't know how IGN has not written 1,000 articles about PlayStation right now.
You know what? I'm actually gonna combat you on this a little bit, dude.
Okay.
They have been slowly, but very quietly and very nice. But they have been reporting more and more. I've seen at least 1 to 2 articles, because I've been checking them out. I want to see if they were saying anything. 1 to 2 articles a day now are negative articles about the PlayStation 5. And I mean, it's not as rampant as when, like, Xbox could fucking try, they could trip over their own feet for 2 seconds and go, whoops, oh man, I almost fell. All of a sudden, there'd be 18 articles going, Xbox stumbled and failed. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Exactly. It's about the wording that they use. Like, they always say, PlayStation 5 is overheating, but here's why it's genius.
Yeah.
Here's why it's okay.
Yeah, they always have the counter argument or the comeback after when they do say something negative. It's like they try to make up for it right away.
It's like what's that stupid thing they do in corporations when you get like a review? Oh, a compliment sandwich. By the way, I work for a corporation, and the executive director, I was sitting with the executive director of the building, and he's giving me a compliment sandwich. I could sense it by his words. And I actually said to him, I go, can you cut the horse shit with the compliment sandwich corporate talk and just talk to me straight? And he stared at me for about 15 seconds and then just started talking to me like a normal person. Anyways, the point is that IGN does compliment sandwiches for Sony. They always do. They're like, this is nice, and then this is what you need to improve on, but then in the end, it's nice again. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they do it. Right. But then when it's Xbox, they're like, oh shit, AC Valhalla went from 60 frames to 59.8. God damn it, Xbox! Yeah. Fucking failures. Yeah, anyways, but the thing is, I did actually hear about this from a couple of people, and some higher ups have actually said that if you criticize Sony openly more not even on a regular basis, but if you do it more often than not, Sony will stop sending you promotional products. That is a fact, and I'm telling you, that is a fact. That's not just me talking shit. I know as a fact that they will stop sending you promotional items if you talk negatively about PlayStation on your platform. Microsoft does not have that same what the word I'm looking for here, like in their contract or whatever.
Rule of thumb.
Yeah, like it's not in their contracts when they send out promotional items for, like for YouTube or anything else like that. They actually don't. So even if you criticize Xbox, they will still send you Xbox and promotional items, and they'll say, yeah, we'll use it as constructive criticism. Yeah. But Sony will actually stop sending you promotional products if you talk shit about them. So that's why they're afraid. IGN being one of them, and a lot of YouTubers and stuff, a lot of big influencers on YouTube will stop getting promotional products from Sony if they speak negatively about it. And that is dirty, underhanded, and that doesn't help the business. The thing is, the problem is, and I've said this before, is that from fans all the way to influencers, all the way to people who work for these companies, if you accept mediocrity, you're going to continue to get mediocrity, right? And I'm not talking about the games, okay? Again, I'm not talking about the games, because I gotta say, Sony's first-party studios are fucking powerhouses, okay? I would say that the last 5 exclusives I played were almost all Naughty Dog games. Okay, and then of course the Sony Santa Monica and then Insomniac and everything. They've got some powerhouse studios. I'm talking about the company themselves and the hardware makers and whoever's working on the UI.
Yeah.
Okay, those people. If you're willing to accept that mediocrity, they will never get better. What happened in 2013 with Xbox? The fucking lashing they took, right? Yeah. If they didn't take that lashing for those first couple of years and beyond, we wouldn't have the Xbox we have now. We wouldn't have Game Pass. We wouldn't have this tower of power sitting behind me right now, right? We wouldn't have any of those things if they didn't get that lashing. If everybody just sat back and said, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Then we would have continued to get shit.
Money rules the world, my friend, and ad space is what talks for any of these companies that thrive and rely on it in order to keep the doors open and their employees paid. And that's the bottom line. We saw it with the video game magazine industry. I remember back in the day, and I've said this before on podcasts, like I remember how not IGN, but EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, was one of the very few publications that tried to stay true to a formula. And I liked how they did it because they always did reviews with 3 or 4 panel members, right? So different people with different experiences would play a game, and then they'd average out the score of those because some of these guys, like say you're a sports guy and all of a sudden they give you a first person shooter to review. It just makes no sense because like sometimes they go in and they automatically trash it because they're not a fan of that. Like it never made any sense. But I used to like that back in the day with EGM, and actually did an article that said because they at one point I remember they came out and they said, yeah, such and such a company basically threatened to remove their ads for us if we just, because, back in the magazine era, you had to get games quite early in order to get a review up at a decent time, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what would happen. So they were threatening to pull their ads, that and stuff, if they didn't get favorable reviews. And when eventually what happened was, I noticed in the years past, and this is a big reason that EGM started to falter, that a lot, because EGM was always being honest, other sites were getting their reviews first, but they were posting these really high scores, and then EGM wouldn't get their review copies till later, and by then it was almost too late. Yeah, they put up an honest score, but it was kind of like, yeah, these guys are fucking us over. So you have to just keep that in mind. Man, like we saw how Sony tipped around Death Stranding too. Like how many people saw that when the reviews were starting to get poor, they were pulling stuff down. They start taking out the comments. They'll shut the comments down to a video or YouTube and stuff like that because they don't want negative press. Because negative press, we know, can kill a game more than anything. And when you did see the big high scores rolling in, this ad, it was from like Dick's Game Informing Emporium is at 9.4 out of 10. You're like,
or pushsquare.com.
Yeah, you get these fucking like nobody fucking reviewers with these high reviews, and you're like, okay, you don't see the big ones of the world. So I'm just trying to make a point that any type of media stuff is often very skewed. And you know what? Even in the YouTube space now, it can be skewed because we see how many influencers now are constantly getting free shit from people. And don't tell me that when you're getting a fucking chair, you're getting a console, you're getting a special edition game, you're getting fucking helmets, you're getting the whole 9 yards, that you can come out and be as honest and as fair as possible. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, you could try and be as honest as possible, but
but it's these companies forming a narrative I don't like.
Did you guys see the fucking package that is it Ubisoft that makes Godfall?
No, it's not. It's not Ubisoft.
Who is it? Gearbox.
Yeah, I think it actually is. I think it actually is Gearbox.
Did you see the fucking the special thing to give her? It was insane. It was a gigantic box. It must have been fucking 3 feet wide, and it had this amazing helmet. Yeah, it had this amazing helmet, and there's a thing that could go up on the wall. It was crazy. Like I just saw it on her Instagram feed. I think it was like this morning, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Now that's what you call a collector edition. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if it's something you can buy in stores or it's just something specially made for various media. But Alana's a pretty special person. Speaking of Alana, how about that? She just got picked up with Sony Santa Monica to be a writer for them now.
That's correct.
Does that mean she's going to go full on Sony pony now?
Yeah, probably not. You know what? That's funny enough that you mentioned that is that one of the first people that congratulated her was Phil Spencer.
No, that is awesome. That's a
Yeah, because
huge
I saw
thing,
the tweet
you know.
live. Like it literally popped up in the middle of my middle of the show last night, and I saw it. And one of the first responses was Phil Spencer himself saying, "Hey, congratulations on the position, this and that, whatever." Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you see, here's the thing, though, Noob. You just brought that up. When they send you that, how you know that in some way, some form, your review of the game is gonna be a little bit skewed.
Yeah, you're
Because
subconsciously getting drawn into it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're subconsciously going to feel bad. And you're going to say, man, I'm a douchebag if I give this a 5. Because they sent me that beautiful helmet. And I was like, for example, Disney does that shit too. You know, when Disney has like a premiere for a movie, they invite all those fucking people out, whatever, and they give them those like gift bags with like $10,000 of shit inside. Because I know a guy who goes to those, okay, to those premieres and stuff like that. And they give you like 10 grand worth of stuff in these bags and all this swag and hats and shirts and really expensive stuff. Sometimes even like crazy things like a Rolex and shit like that, like really crazy stuff. Now you're going to walk out of that theater and go, movie's fucking trash. Fuck Disney. Are you going to do that now? Because now you're wearing that Rolex. Now you're wearing that hat. Now you've got that collector's edition fucking gun, signed by fucking Harrison Ford. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. And so they're trying to like schmooze you, and then they're trying to form a narrative. And Sony tried to do the same thing, and that's, but I don't like that. I would actually prefer even like the Xbox way, full transparency. Here's the product, love it or hate it, let us know.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
There we go. Well, since let's segue off and get into some time, we're almost the show's almost over. Basically, how they got out of the first topic. But hey, that's good. That's awesome, guys. Big shout out again to the chat. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for hanging out. It's Triard fans here. Shizno Elite, Jay Slayer, Jay. Who else? We got some new people in here tonight. Rico Dennis is hanging out with us. What's going on? Emmanuel A1. What's happening, brother? Pixelbit G. Safe Space Invader. Crazy Greek Dude. Red Raven, and the list goes on. Sean Carpenter, what's up, brother? And thanks for being here. Midway Monster, Mega Bad Seed is here. What's going on, brother? Iceman, Midway. Oh yeah, I was in Midway. Stu Drinks, Eco Falls, the Doctor, Infinite. The list goes on. Spider-Man 356, Timothy Dixon. What's going on, guys? But anyway, since we're talking about launches and launch titles, let's talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, the game looks intriguing. There's no question about it for me. It's intriguing. I may be tempted to pick it up at some point in time. I haven't right now. Again, I struggled with Odyssey. I thought it was a cool game, but I struggle with these open world games, man. I just only got so much time and that sort of stuff. So, Nag, obviously you've been playing it. What do you think of it? I mean, where do you find it fits in between the current gen and next gen? Because to me, it still looks, and it is largely a game built on the current gen hardware. So what's your impressions of the game? I said, I might try it eventually. I can't give it a yay or a nay. It looks kind of cool, but what do you think of it all, man, if you've been playing it?
I'm going to go ahead
you get into that, I gotta know.
Meg?
You gotta answer my question I asked earlier. So I gotta let you because to me it's a cut and paste of Odyssey with a new, fresh coat of paint on it, a new theme, if you will.
Damn it, Titan.
So let me know what you think about that. Give me your all.
All right.
Well, yeah, something going on here. What was connection problem or something? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, dude.
Well, you guys are botting out bad. I don't know if it's on my end or what. Holy shit!
I think it is on your end.
I'll get you, Optimus Prime. Megatron! Are we still botting? Megatron! Oh,
yeah, it's definitely new. It's definitely new.
It's definitely new. Yeah, well, it's probably snowing out in Alberta, so it's covering up all the power lines. Anyways, I'll go ahead and keep talking about it though, in any which way. Titan, in terms of the structure of the game, you're absolutely right. In terms of like that, it's an RPG light kind of game. I could see that. The way that they designed the world is a little bit more organic, though.
Right.
The way that they have the map, like it's not just like, here's your map, fuck off. You know what I mean? It's just like, it almost feels like you're traveling, like the character traveling through the map. It feels like you're actually charting the map yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of vibe. So
Okay.
there's that. But in terms of the structure, you're absolutely right. Like, you know, like I said, RPG light, you know, and there goes Noof. He just disappeared. He'll come back in a second. And in that respect, yes, obviously the story is different. The setting is different. Everything else is, you know, in that respect. Even the mechanics are pretty much the same. You know, you crouch, you're crouching through the grass and all that shit, and you're taking guys out, whatever. I do like the hidden blade. The return of the hidden blade is nice. That's
You
really
gotta
good.
have the hidden blade in AC Odyssey. They gotta throw that in one way or another.
Yeah, well,
That's a
AC
must.
Odyssey didn't. Like it
Yes,
didn't
they
in AC
did.
Odyssey. No, it wasn't a hidden blade. It was actually it was King Leonidas's sword, broken sword. You remember that? It was like the
Broken sword.
little like it
Well,
was like
this
his
one
sword. It was like the
technically-
sharded sword.
Well, this one technically isn't hidden. It's like he shows it for, you know, because he doesn't want to lose a finger like the one guys did.
Yeah, because he originally put it on the one way, and he turned it around the other way.
Yeah.
Right, and then he says, "I'm not going to be as stupid as you guys," or whatever. That was pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
But
Like
yeah, that was great. But anyways, and other than that, I love the game. I think to me, it really does feel and look next gen. And I think that most of that is because of the 60 frames per second on an open world game.
For sure.
It just feels different. And it moves different, and the camera is so smooth. The graphics are absolutely stunning, and it just, I don't know, man. It just feels so much more immersive. I like that idea that they have with that, you know, with your little village and your town, you know, and and it's not overwhelming though. It's not like fucking State of Decay 2. You know, where it's like, oh shit, you go out for a mission. 6 minutes into the mission, you know, Johnny the sheriff is fucking starving. You got to go bring him back a can of beans. You know, like you can leave the fucking village for a while, right? So you could go off and do your missions and stuff, and then, you know, go back and upgrade and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. But I haven't got too deep into it. The story, though, is excellent. I love the story. And I like, and but like I said, I'm only about 8 to 10 hours in. And with me, when it comes to open world games, man, I just fucking go. So when I go, I just go off. Like I barely do the story. I'll do like one mission story, and then I'll do 10 hours of other stuff because I cannot leave a map until every question mark, every single little space, every single checkpoint, every single side mission is done. And then I'll move on. Unless I physically can't do it. Because there were some areas where I wasn't leveled up high enough to do. So I have to go back to that, which kind of pisses me off. But that's fine. I'll deal with that. But anyways, all in all, I would say that the Gen Leap game for me. So I'm absolutely loving it. So anyways.
All right. So I may want to hear more from you about it, but don't get me wrong. Okay. Don't get me wrong, everyone in the chat. Crazy Greek dude, you tagged me. Don't get me wrong. Saying it is a cut and paste thing it's not necessarily a negative thing, okay? I'm not putting a negative limelight on this because this is cut and pasted from an amazing game, in my opinion. AC Odyssey was my favorite Assassin's Creed in the whole series, and I really loved the first one. I felt AC Odyssey brought me back into the dang game, and in a strong way. I beat it. I did not beat it like the mag did, right? I always want to go back and kill all those. I don't remember what they called them in AC Odyssey, but all the main targets or whatever of the organization.
Oh yeah, the cult.
Yes, I wanted to kill all those guys, but I never got around to, and it don't look like I ever will. That'll probably remain in my backlog for life.
Yeah,
but maybe I'll be redeemed in this one, right? Because
you gotta do it.
Because they cut and paste the cult and call it something else right now.
Yeah.
But I like that aspect. I love the fact that those guys are on the map. I have not seen one of those guys on the map unnaturally, if you will. I ran into them all the time in AC Odyssey.
Yes.
Like I'm just walking around and there's like a target there, and oh my god, I just killed someone from the cult. You know, that has not happened to me yet. So a lot of organic scenarios haven't hit me, and that might be a good thing because in AC Odyssey, I found myself constantly, right? Open world games, you get that you constantly you've got a mission to do, and then oh my god, this person is dying, I gotta save him. Oh my god, this person's getting raped, I gotta save. something is drawing you off the main path. I'm not getting that as much in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that might be a good thing. So so I kind of like that about, because it's keeping me on track of the main storyline, right? You obviously have, like you said, you have your town that you can do the raids for and get supplies for and upgrade your town. So how much have you upgraded on your town so far?
Basically nothing. I was doing like a little bit of those like those little mini games and stuff, like the drinking game. We have to drink out of the horn and all that kind of stuff. And I played that little tile game that was actually, you know what? That tile game was actually pretty fun. It was pretty cool. It wasn't like the craziest thing in the world, but it was pretty wild. I haven't really done anything other than that because I've been wandering around because I'm trying to uncover the map, because you know how like as you go to more parts of the map, it reveals itself, right? So
yeah, and you do the lookout points or whatever.
Yeah. I always do that. That's always like my Assassin's Creed like modus operandi is like all the evil spots, right? All the synchronization spots. Yeah. I always do as many of those as I can and just open up the map, and then I can actually look at it. And I swear to God, I do this. I actually look at the map and study it, and then see how I'm going to plan the attack of doing the entire world. And
now it looks like they like sectioned off this map now, like from England to.
Right. And they did that on purpose in order to drive the narrative forward, right? Because what they were trying to do is that you want you to do stuff, back in Norway, and then you have to take the trek to England. And now I left a bunch of shit in Norway to do because I'm not leveled up enough. And then I realized what the levels were. Like if you look at it, you could like kind of scout out like a little area, like a little village,
and then you've got like the red skull if you don't stand a chance.
But it was yes, and if you go to the map, you can actually see the number, and like the numbers were like ridiculous. Like you need like power like 80 or something. And I'm like, fuck, that's right near the starting of the map of the game. But then you realize what it is. That's end game stuff. So by the time you hit like a power level of 80, you're already finished. Most likely you'll be finished the story in order to get that high. Right. So then what you have to do is, I don't know what the story is going to be, and I don't want to know. I want to experience it myself. But my guess is that at some point you will now have the option to either stay in England, and you can be able to travel back and forth between England and Norway, because maybe whatever you set up in England is now just like a colony, and you could still go back to Norway, to your home. Whatever your homeland.
I almost guarantee you that you're gonna have to build up Norway and then go to go to England and then start from scratch. I almost guarantee that's the way it's gonna work. Well, that's the way it usually works.
Have you not gone to England yet?
No, I don't think so. I've gone a little bit north, but I don't think I made it up there. So let me ask you this: so you've gone to a lot of synchronization. Have you been drawn off? Has like a lot of random events happen to you?
No, not really, actually, because it's the beginning of the game is really keeping you tight with the story.
Okay.
Right. You could tell that they're trying to angle you towards the narrative, right? Because like they don't give you a whole lot to do, right? So that like the only thing that you can do is kind of, they're trying to steer you towards the story. And because of that, that's where, that's why, I just, like I said, I just got on a horse and started wandering around a little bit, but there wasn't a whole lot to do. And the reason for that, and even with the synchronization points, there wasn't a whole lot to do, because you couldn't do much, because they want you to go, whatever, talk to the king, or, talk to your stepbrother or whatever, that kind of thing. And I did step foot on English soil in the game, and I turned it off, and I haven't played it in 3 days. Because I kind of wanted to hold off, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait for like a day where I can actually like sit down and play, because that's not the kind of game you can play for 1 hour. Right. Like you can't sit down for 1 hour. Let's say it's after work and I go do a workout. I put my kids to bed. You can't sit down and play AC for fucking an hour and then just say, all right, I killed 3 guys, I'm going to fuck off now. Like, no, it's not that kind of game, man. That game requires, and trust me, I know, because like I said, I've 100% completed every single Assassin's Creed game. Even like that little offshoot game from Black Flag, the one with the slave girl and stuff. Did you ever see that in the Bayou and stuff? It's actually a really cool fucking story. And it was almost like an offshoot game that was on, I think it was PSP or something. And then they eventually brought it to Xbox. I played it on there. I even 100% of that one. Damn. And anyways, the point is, is that what the fuck was my point? Holy shit, Titan! I forgot what I was saying.
Well, while you remember that, I gotta give the graphics a slight negative. I feel like some of the textures are not what they should be for next gen. Like it's got a Series X, upgrade to it. I don't see ray tracing. I see none of it. I see it's smooth. The 60 frames, it's smooth. I'll give it that. But some of the textures just look a little PlayStation 4 Pro-ish. They look a little muddy. They definitely need to be updated a little bit, maybe a patch or something, which could easily be done. But a little patch could solve that, and I think it would look a lot. I think it has the potential to look a lot better.
Spider-Man
Band Titan,
Band Titan, yeah, I saw that. Oh, and by the way, Jesse Darby, thank you so much for it was Assassin's Creed Liberation. That was the one with the slave girl. It was really fucking good, man. Like really good. It was a good Spider-Man. What spoiler? I didn't say anything. All I said is that they go to England. It's in the fucking trailer.
There's more than one country you go to.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, yeah. So, guys, I'm assuming everybody knows. Obviously, Noof is having some mic troubles, so we are just kind of carrying on here. And I don't know. Can you imitate Boom? Or Boom? Can you imitate Noof? Pretend we're him for a couple of minutes, like he's asking us questions.
Well, I sure can't do an Ask Arnie segment. That's for dang sure.
My God.
Well, what were the other topics for tonight? Because I think we've pretty much run AC Valhalla into the ground.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we got
there was. Well, we got
Marvel Avengers.
Fuck!
We've got
you know what? We might as well get. There was the other one was it was talking about Dark Souls, but Demon Souls, but not actually Demon Souls. I think it was we were going to talk about what actual game would we like to see remade. And what movie you'd like to see remade?
And Bethesda games going multi-plat. We didn't get into that either, right?
What was the other one? Sorry,
Bethesda games going multi-plat.
Oh yeah. Noof is saying in the chat to talk about the Avengers. So let's do the Avengers first. Then let's go with that.
Alrighty.
I haven't touched that fucking game since I finished the campaign in September. Next topic. In all seriousness, yeah, no, I don't yet. Apparently, the word is around the campfires that the user base has dropped off by an astounding 96%.
Correct. Yeah,
that is insane for a game that is supposed to be a games as a service / online, multiplayer experience that's supposed to have a community, kind of like Destiny 2, that kind of thing. To have a 96% drop off, I could attest to like a couple of things as to or my thoughts as to the reason why. One of them is because it's so repetitive, and it's basically just playing the same maps over and over. I know that sounds like a Call of Duty issue. You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, people play Call of Duty and it's the same 10 maps for a whole fucking year. But there are other game modes or other things to do, that kind of thing. Of course, they added Warzone, shit like that. And yeah, okay, those games do get repetitive, but my God, the Avengers is literally just a grind fest from hell.
All right, so do you play Destiny?
Yeah, but Destiny at least has interesting locations, different planets.
Okay, so you're giving the better game to Destiny.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I played Avengers. I played the Avengers. What's it called? The campaign. The campaign is good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The story was pretty wild, pretty cool. But after that, I just no interest. Like I played a couple of those, like the levels, like they call it. What is it? The Avengers Initiative, where you actually have to go in, and that's where the game opens up to that multiplayer sort of situation. And it is a fantastic idea. Like you could just drop in there. Let's say, you want to drop in as Tony Stark, Iron Man, and then you just get grouped up with like 3 or 4 other Avengers, and you can go off and do all these missions and shit, right? That's great. But the problem is it's the same fucking maps, and it's just the same thing. You're literally just hammering the same buttons over, the same button over, and just beating the shit out of the same guy. So what I did is, as I was telling Noof at the beginning of the show, I downloaded Avengers again for the Series X because I wanted to see the upgrades, right? Nothing really stood out to me. First of all, I played it and I'm like, okay, it looks exactly the same as it did before. and maybe a little bit more clarity to it, right? But other than that, it was pretty much the same thing. And I played like one mission, and I'm like, I'm fucking done with this game for life.
For life, wow.
Like I don't have any interest at all in going back to that game.
Can
there
you
you
guys
go,
hear me now? Back?
Yep, you're good. You're good.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened, but like you guys, it must have been a connection issue on my end because you guys were like, to me, both you guys were talking. I never heard a damn thing about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. All I heard was Mag and Titan. You sounded like this. And I had to listen to that for 10 minutes. I was like, holy fuck.
Well, I was keeping an eye on the chat, and the chat could hear us just fine. So it was definitely coming from your end, right? So, and then Titan and I could hear each other just fine.
Right.
But,
it's starting to go wacky again here. Oh man, I don't know if I'm having a bad connection problem or what.
You know what it is? It's Sony. Sony, we were talking shit about Sony. They're like, okay, cut him off. Jim Ryan showed up. He goes, cut that fucking noof right off right now.
It's the first time I've ever had this issue since I've been using StreamYard, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, from our end, we're fine. So it might be an internet situation.
You know,
yeah,
as far as the Marvel Avenger goes, I almost bought this game 5 times over. It looks like a bullet that I dodged faster than Quicksilver or whatever.
Yeah,
whoever you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Superman, whoever you want to call it.
Wait for a deep sale and play the campaign. That's about all I could tell you.
The thing is, people, it's funny to me because people call, like you've heard it, we've all heard it many times before. People call player bases, quote unquote, dead, you know? So let's all, as gamers, use Marvel Avengers as the absolute measuring stick as a player base being actually dead, okay? 96% of your player base being gone, that's official. That junk is dead. That is. What are they going to add to that game to resuscitate 96% of your player base being lost? Is there anything, Mag, is there anything that they could add to that game that would get you back into it?
Not really. Like they would have to.
Ouch!
And I'm just telling the truth. I mean,
ouch!
I played like a handful of those after whatever end game missions, and it's literally the same fucking location over and over and over and over, and then you're like, okay, then you go to like to this area, and the layouts are just so fucking lame. I mean, you're just like, you look, and there's like 3 or 4 levels with a couple of chests in them. The chests give you fuck all, and they do it on purpose because they want you to keep going back to getting more and more and doing it over and over to the point where you're just like, fuck off already. Like, it's so boring.
This seems like
so repetitive.
So this could be a COVID situation nightmare as far as games with a service goes. So this obviously seems like this is not the way to go during COVID. Like, right? The game's progress being made on the game is slowed down. The patches to the game, the additions to the game, the downloadable content to the game, all of that is getting slowed down. So it looks to me like they threw all this crap, this grind fest.
It's a grind
I guarantee they have the ability to tune that crap up and down. So I guarantee they turned the grind fest up to 11, knowing that they're not, knowing what's going on in the world, that they're going to need some extra time. And it's literally seems like it's killing the game. Not to mention the fact that the Spider-Man DLC only going to PlayStation, that lost a lot of fans as well.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is, speaking of PlayStation, I wonder how they feel right now because they had to pay for all those exclusive rights for fucking Spider-Man.
Oh, gosh,
in the game.
You're right.
And Spider-Man is coming out, early 2021 for the Avengers game, and that was like a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of people in the Xbox community and PC community were fucking pissed that Spider-Man was exclusive to Sony. And now you have a 96% drop-off. Even Spider-Man won't be able to pull everybody back into that game because literally it's just going to be Spider-Man back in the game doing the same fucking thing you were doing before with the other characters. Right? So it's just like, no, man, it's done. Fucking game is done. Like I said, I tried it today and it was so unimpressive. Oh, by the way, shout out to Red Raven in the chat. He also said that the actual next gen upgrades don't come out until next year. I'm like, next year? Who the fuck is going to be playing this next year? Like, what are they doing? Just fucking take the L and move on, man. Make another Tomb Raider, for fuck's sake. Fuck this Avengers thing. You know? Sorry, I'm all worked up about it.
No, man, I understand. Like, because you wasted your money, you're not getting your money's worth.
Dude, I paid the premium one because my son wanted to play it like 3 days early. And there were literally no games out for any system. I had already finished Ghost of Tsushima, okay, on PS4. Yeah, guys, how about that? I actually play PS4 games, and I own a whole bunch of them. And I talk shit about Sony. Isn't that weird? Yeah, so I finished Ghost of Tsushima. I finished Last of Us 2. I got the platinum on Spider-Man. So I was basically from the spring all the way through the summer, I was like all Sony'd up, right? So I was doing all the Sony PlayStation games. And you know what's funny? I must be a fucking prophet because I got to tell you, you know what? I actually did not have any intention of carrying over any PS4 games to PS5 because I had a feeling that they were going to fuck it up. And guess what? Boy, was I right. So I finished all those games before. Anyways, there was no games to play. Mafia Definitive Edition was still like 2 or 3 weeks off. So I bought the fucking game at like whatever, $100 and something to get it 3 days early so that my son and I could fucking play it. How ridiculous is that?
And you were saying you beat the game relatively fast, right?
I did, yeah. I beat it pretty quick, and it was a fucking disaster. Anyway, the game was a total waste of time. It had a good story. The campaign was interesting, but after that, it just done.
All right. So there's one thing I gotta know, Mag. Did you buy Fallout 76?
No, I did not.
All right, so you dodged one bullet because both of these games are games as a service during COVID. Like two of the worst games. Oh my god, I hear myself talking. I hate it.
Yeah, and I hear myself talking too. We, you know what? We may. I know Noof put in the chat that we may have to cut it off early, but I think we're gonna have to call it. I mean, Noof, it's up to you, buddy. If you say something in the chat, say something in the chat. But we might have to cut it because now I'm getting.
These games as a service games, we have to avoid purchase. I think at all costs. That's 2 for 2. These are like Fallout 76. Holy cow! You're so lucky you dodged that bullet.
Yeah, no, I wasn't interested in it.
All right, what do you got, Noof?
Well, the audio's finally cleared up again. I don't know what the hell is going on here, guys, but I can't hear a damn word that Titan and Mag are saying. All I'm getting is this weird echoing, botting kind of thing, which is usually indicative of something cutting in or something is trying to use audio or there's a lag. I don't know what the hell it is. So I don't know what the hell is going on here, guys. As long as it sounds good to you guys in the chat, that is the main thing. What's going on, Supersonic Station? Thanks a lot. What's going on, brother? Phantom Kraken, guys. Draven Arrow. Look, quickly, I'll try to get this in while I can. And because it is running late, I'm going to leave the Ask Arnold guys till next week. Normally that segment comes in halfway through the show, not at the end. So we'll just leave that for next week. All that stuff. We're going to bring our stuff back for next week. We're going to talk to the boys here too, see how they want to proceed with their segments and stuff like that. We know Tony Baloney's on a bit of a vacation. He might just say hello here real quick, that sort of thing. But my thought with the Avengers, to me, that game is the most disappointing game of the year. I mean, graphically, I thought it looked good. The first level was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed the bridge. After that, it just became a big grind snore fest with some character that I never even heard of that absolutely appealed to me not at all. You're playing as her an awful lot, this Kamala girl or Miss Marvel or whatever the fuck she is. You know, I found the characters are too grindy. A lot of it's a beat 'em up, but what is the Avengers Ultimate Alliance on the Switch, like number 3? That to me, that game was far more fun than this Avengers game. You know what I mean? So all of these collecting all these weapons and these gauntlets and these upgrades, and this is what I said in my Twitter feed. And these companies got to get this through their head. Not every game needs to be a game as a service. And you certainly don't need a game as a service when it's based around a property like the Avengers, which is automatically going to sell. It's not like you're trying to stretch the game out and trying to make it something that it's not, you know? and I applaud you guys that like it. I'm not saying it's a necessarily bad game. It was good for what it is. I just think for me it was very disappointing. I mean, a lot of people are disappointed they didn't use the actual likenesses from the actors, but although obviously you can tell by the costumes in the game that they're trying to represent the movie characters fairly well. That sort of stuff. And there you go, Mr. Nolan North and Troy Baker in there again. Like, fucking guys are in every single game. That sort of stuff. So I don't know. Like, I just found it was very disappointing. To see the user base drop off is got to be very disconcerting. I mean, if any company spent a major amount of money this year, it's got to be Square Enix with on that particular franchise. Those franchises do not come cheap. They're almost guaranteed moneymakers. I'm sure the game did probably well out of the gate in the first week or two, but when a game drops off that hard, that fast, that tells you almost everything you need to know, that they're doing something wrong, that people just don't really want to keep playing it, that sort of thing. So that's all I can say, man. It just kind of sucks. So, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, hopefully they'll continue to make Avengers games. Square Enix needs to go back to, concentrating on just doing stuff. Like, I mean, they killed it with the Tomb Raider franchise, but this is a totally different style of a game, so. Can you guys go? Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. We definitely got some technical issues here tonight. They're piling up left and right. So let's just do our outros and skip on out here a little early tonight.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here just a few minutes early, guys. We had a few more things. I might save some of them for next week because I know one of the topics I wanted to chat about was what is the best remake of a game or a movie that you've seen, and I'm going to let the boys fester on that one for next week. I do want to come back to some of these things. And I do apologize again, guys, for any issues with the podcast tonight. The first time, I got to give StreamYard credit. Ever since I've been using it's been awesome, but there's definitely an issue, and I don't know where it is yet, but I just know that I had a lot of trouble hearing the boys chat during the segments, and it kind of takes you right out of it. But anyway, we will be back bigger and better again next week. Tell all your friends, tell your folks, that your grandparents, whoever you want, just bring them on out. We had over 50 something awesome chaps in here watching this game again tonight. It was fantastic. Harry Nip says, I love your work, Dr. Disrespect. He must have caught last week's show.
Nice.
That was awesome, by the way. Last week's show, I think, set a couple of new records, I think, for Gaming After Dark. So it was one of our most watched podcasts to date. So greatly appreciate the love and support you guys have shown us in a short period of time. Yes, Ask Arnold will be back. In the next generation will be back. And Tony Baloney, maybe he just wants to pop in and say hello there, Meg.
Let me tell you something. The mag is taking a rest right now because there's a lot of technical and audio issues. You know what it is? It's a bunch of bullshit is what it is. That's what I'm saying. And by the way, just in case anybody thinks that Tony Baloney is a fraud, he is not a fraud. And I'll tell you why. Because Joe Donmore called me and said that he received his game and he picked Yakuza Like a Dragon and he loved it. Now, the only person who is a fraud is that fucking Mag Guy. That Mag Guy is a complete fraud. You should have seen him playing Fortnite on his Series X with his son. Oh, yeah, he's using that as an excuse to play with his son. Bullshit. When no one's looking, the Mag is playing Fortnite by himself. That's right. He doesn't just play with himself in the bathroom. He plays with himself on the couch. Unbelievable. Okay, Tony, get out of here. Get out of here. Holy shit, that guy. Jesus Christ. He's like a ventriloquist puppet. He just kind of jumps in there every once in a while, and he's got to say something like an asshole.
I want to see you on video, and I want to see Tony Baloney on video one of these times.
One day you will see Tony Baloney on video, and trust me,
excellent.
He's got something very special planned for that. Yeah, there's no question.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's get to the outros. We will start with you, Meg, and let people know where they can catch you, brother, because you are becoming a big star in the community. You're always busy on Mondays and then Tuesdays, so let people know how they can do it. And maybe they want to check out that amazing PlayStation 5 limited edition that your video you did.
Yeah. Yes, well, you can catch me every Tuesday night right here with Titan Drago and Noof Nukem on Gaming After Dark at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every week. And every Monday night, you can catch me at 8 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time with Mr. Boomstick XL and friends on Prime Time Gaming. And yes, you can follow me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end. on the PlayStation and Xbox side of things, I have conglomerated my name. Finally, I have one name for both. You could follow me on both. It is all capitals, one word. I am the Mag. That's with 2 G's, by the way. So yes, you can follow me all there. And yes, if you want to drop by my Twitter, you can check out my extremely popular PS5 unboxing video. Alcohol had absolutely nothing to do with that idea. And trust me, my hijinks are only getting started. I have ideas for days. So keep an eye on my Twitter and eventually keep an eye on my YouTube. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Everybody have a great week. Guys, it was a great show as always. And catch you next week. Have a good night.
All right, good stuff from the Meg, and obviously now the man who brings common back to sense, Titan Drago. Let people know where they can catch up with you, my brother. Send you a message, all that good stuff.
Everything at Titan Drago, everybody. We gotta get Newfin alter ego to dress up as. Like, I got the Dr. Disrespect. Mag has baloney over there. Maybe we can see Cletus sometime, Newfin. How about that? That would be awesome. I think the chat
got to knock out a few of his teeth.
I think the chat needs to really pressure Noof into doing that for us all. That would be amazing. But
all right, I'll see what I can do with. I'll have to talk to Cletus, see if he wants to make his first ever camera appearance. How about that?
That would be fantastic, man. I guarantee everyone would love to see that too. But other than that, excellent show tonight, boys. And catch you all next week. All right.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Good stuff. And as always, guys, you know to find Noof Nukem in the gutter and right back here on Tuesday nights. And if you're watching the the podcast scene every once in a while, I tend to make an appearance with the one, the only Mr. Boomstick XL. He likes to bring me in from time to time, and I try to keep it on the down low when I head over to Boom's channel. You know what I mean? So anything can happen and anything goes when you're on Gaming After Dark. It is the X-rated show. Well, not really, but nobody's showing any nudity, but we definitely talk a little bit of foul language around here. We get a little bit raunchy. It is the raunchiest podcast on prime time. But it's all good stuff. Your chat is amazing. You guys are what makes us tick every week, and we look forward to it. And I'm already looking forward to next Tuesday night. Hopefully the audio things are a thing of the past after the show is over. Sounds like my audio is coming through well. It's when the boys talk. It's just a constant
Yeah, but
So,
Titan's a teacher, so maybe he's
see,
one of
there
the
you go
teachers
again.
from Charlie Brown.
That's right. Wah, wah.
All right, so we will see you again next week. Until then, guys, stay well, stay happy, continue to game on. Hopefully you guys are able to secure your new consoles anytime soon. No matter what you're gaming on, guys, have fun. They're awesome consoles. There's some great games to play, lots of stuff, and we'll see you online. Take care. And by the way, I just wanted to say shout out to everybody that came out to community game night last Saturday. It was an absolute blast. We tried to do Gears of War Ultimate Edition, but had struggled to get some players. So ultimately, we ended up going over to Gears 5. We had a pretty good turnout. It was a blast. KJ was in the chat earlier there. He had a blast. And we went over to Titanfall 2 after that, and it was quite interesting because a few of the guys who came over with us had never played Titanfall before, Titanfall 2, and absolutely thought the multiplayer was dynamite, and they can't wait to get back and do it again. So we will do it again soon. Like to see more of you guys that are in this chat on community game nights. I think you will really enjoy it. You don't have to be ultra awesome at the games because we play a variety of stuff, and nobody's like out trying hard. Nobody really cares. We're just having a good laugh. We're not watching kill death ratios. Well, unless you're Titan Drago, he might look at the numbers, but Titan and Shameless Games are running the gauntlet all the time. But but outside of that, it's all good, guys. We'll catch you again soon. Later, Cyber Gunter, Joe Dunmore, Crazy, the whole works, you guys. We'll catch you next week. Peace out. Take care.